works. My God, what's going on? It's like today that my computer was playing funny tricks. I hope it's working. Let's see. I press go live. Ready to go live and it's not going. My God, come on. Go live. Bog. Shooty, shooty, shooty. Come on, babies. What's up in here? Having trouble connecting. Please check your internet. Hold on. I'll have to tell my guys to switch off their games. Oh. Julian? Get out of the games because I need a strong connection. Mika, you too. There is no big strong connection, please. Thanks, thanks, thanks. I don't know what's up. But anyway, let's try again. Having trouble connecting. Why? Don't do that to me now. One more time. Oh, God. Why? Ah, there we are. That's so funny. Apparently, I am live for 1 minute and 22 seconds. So funny. Anyhow, with all the new moon energies and the solar eclipse that was just happening, hello, good evening. I'm Wiola Diamondheart, and tonight, I have a fabulous, extraordinary person, Sheian Alegria, aka Lazo Freeman. And before I will bring him into the vision in here, beautiful people, I have that beautiful privilege to be in that presence of the wisdom, ancestral wisdom, and the different channels of spiritual well-being. And Lazo, Sheian Alegria, I will read that because it's just extraordinary way to introduce this beautiful person that is going to share his wisdom with his wife during our urban retreat. So take a moment. Let's take a moment before well-being entrepreneur, writer, musician, yogi, athlete, artist. He shares his shamanic ways of living in accordance to nature, various ancient lineages with much respect for their sacred works. And Sheian has been on transformational path for many, many years. He started as a body transformation coach, working with CEOs, billionaires, and celebrities, as well as trained 200 trainers, winning the best innovation by the UK government. And a few years ago, 8 years ago, he says, like, he had this crazy out of this world spiritual awakening and decided to quit everything and study with masters, yogis, teachers, and indigenous elders across the globe. Now, he's back in London and he's sharing his wisdom, and we can actually benefit from that. The path of connecting to the soul, consciousness, and bringing large, empowering, and entertaining events to the world. Sheian, he says that his biggest joy he receives in seeing people blossom to who they really are. And the truth is, it's such a privilege to be in that presence. And yes, so there he is. Look at this beautiful, beautiful soul. Good evening, Sheian.
Good evening, Wiola. Sat Nam Waheguru. Thank you for having me on this evening.
It's such a privilege and honor to share that moment in time, space, and reality with you. And I always feel humbled. The life is life as we all go, but when we reconnect with each other, like something magical happens. Mm-hmm. And it's quite sometimes difficult to describe when we reconnect again and again and again. And as you are saying, like bringing the joy into the world and see this bounty and beauty of the people as they awaken. So for you, when you were coming from one reality to the other. You've done a couple of shifts in your life because
Yes,
the way
many.
you Mhm. Many, I know, but the way you became the bodybuilder, there is the story of the boy, the man, to that, and then from that, billionaires to the shamanic way of living. Would you share that story?
For sure, happy to share that story. And the story began as a bodybuilder. I just was like, got into the vanity, got into the look, but I also got into the sport of just training and seeing how far my body can go. And, I can only speak for myself, but sometimes when I, at the time, was doing something, it came from a place of insecurity. I was as a high achiever, very successful, making things happen, but it was coming from an insecure place. So after working with awareness and self-consciousness, I no longer want to be driven, because the question that I realize is like, who's driving? Which energy, which trauma, which part of my personality that got dissociated was driving that outcome where there's no real satisfaction? Even though the outside looked great and everything looked great, but inside it was just still this empty void. So, and I didn't know one can actually look inside. I didn't even know there was an inner world back then. It was just all external. We think the world outside is so real, yet I wish once upon a time someone told me, go in and have a look. You might find something really cool. It might be scary and there might be a few dragons, but behind all of that is a treasure. That's why they call it a treasure chest. The treasure sits in our chest. And so that's where the beauty and the joy and the truth and what you're really here to do and experience. And along that journey, I've decided not to live any life full of regrets. And not to go inside is not to really understand who you are. Like, who are you? What are you? And what is the nature of reality? So that's my journey into working with indigenous and working with also wonderful people and just a student of love and wisdom, learning, sharing, and still learning and sharing, but it's infinite, so it's great. I'm learning and sharing with you, Viola, and I'm excited about our event on Sunday.
Yes, we do have this beautiful event. We're going to talk about it later because here is like so much wisdom, in a way. But before you were the bodybuilder, something happened to you. So you wanted to be that beautiful Adonis, the
Yeah,
god of the gods.
no,
I've seen the pictures and I was like, oh my God.
yeah. I mean, it was definitely, social status, getting girls, attention, validation, all that stuff, which came with it. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things, by the way. I'm not here to judge that. But it wasn't coming from a place of what am I here to do and what am I here to experience? So I really love that time. I still love training, and I'm getting myself back into training again. But what happened really was basically I was doing biochemical engineering, I was studying, I had a big falling out with my dad, like huge falling out with my father, and I hated the subject. I really couldn't stand it anymore because it was like engineering and maths and physics and chemistry, study this. So I was kind of following his footsteps, let's just say. He's an engineer. And, I wasn't that good socially or anything else. So I was lost. And I decided, which was great for the time, I decided I need to strengthen my body. I need to reclaim my power back because I couldn't control there, but I can at least control this. And I ended up winning this competition called Body for Life in 2004. Cindy Crawford gave me the prize. It was an amazing experience. And this is the day where there weren't many personal trainers around. There weren't many gyms. There was no Instagram and Facebook. Like, we're talking about a long time ago here. And so you couldn't really make cash. You know, my parents said, "What are you talking about? Become a personal trainer? Like, how are you going to make money? Like, what are you doing?" I was like, "No, I'm going to do this thing." And then I kind of fell in love with bodybuilding. Used to watch all the Arnold competitions and started studying it very deeply, and became pretty good at training and training people and getting great physiques. And I started building reputation, and people were like, "I want to transform." So I just did these 12-week transformations. You know, those before and after. It was like one of those original ones. Now you see it everywhere, but that was that was my time. And it was a beautiful learning curve, and it was a beautiful time of my life, I definitely have to say. But there was always this something missing inside of myself that that external armor didn't provide. It looked great, like an Adonis, a Greek god,
Oh
but
yeah, I mean, in the pictures, like recently, I was looking for something and I came across this picture. I was like, oh my God, that's really nice. I mean, like, hello, there is nothing wrong with admire. How do you call it? Admire that, and like really to have a strong, beautiful, powerful body, because like this is our kind of the temple. It's a beautiful temple that we have, and we are here to suffer but to enjoy and bring that joy and all that it comes with it to the
yeah.
world, and show that it doesn't matter which path are you choosing. You your the happiness is your birthright, as we talk
Oh,
about
it is.
kundalini and stuff, and it's like brings that all the bounty and beauty into that one, the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, and it's, I would agree. Is you have a body, so you should take care of it and make it the best it can be. I definitely still agree with that. And when you have a strong body, you do also have a strong mind. But sometimes can be a stubborn mind in certain ways. So yeah,
No,
that was
I know that's how did you like how did you get to that spiritual path? What is that the crazy awakening that happened to you? I
you really
think
want to
like
know?
I never got into that crazy awakening, and I think like my ego mind really craved that and still craves. Like, come on, it's just like everything is such a hard work, or it was the hard work. So how can I? Yes, because it
You know,
varies from
it's
person
funny.
to person.
You know, you share that at the beginning is hard, but I start to realize it's not that hard as soon as I let go
Yeah.
to the divine. It's actually not that hard. It's just me making it harder than it actually is. It's just to share that's my personal experience. So when I'm going through a quote on tough time spiritually, I'm realizing there's a part of me that's just not truly letting go to the divine or surrendering to life and its beauty. Like there's a part of me holding on to some concept or some idea or some way that I want it to be this way. There's something there usually, because when I do that, it's great. Anyways, so I never used to meditate. I never prayed. I just believed in logic and reason, and everything I did was based on rationality. So that was my kind of like, I guess my superpower. Like any superpower, was your gift and curse. It has great resources for the 3D world, but it's not so great about exploring different potentialities in different ways because it keeps one rigid. Anyways, basically, just to go briefly, you know, a long time ago, my mum had cancer the first time round, and I was quite rubbish. I really was kind of like, didn't really help her, felt really sorry and sad, and was kind of lost. But they did the operation, they said the cancer's gone, blah, blah, blah. Hooray, celebrate. And then a few years later, it came back, and it was on the breast. And so I studied all I could at the time on spontaneous remission, people who've had cancer cells and whatever it is, or tumors, and it just dropped off. And I was good friends at the time with Dr. Joe Dispenza. This is before he wrote any of his books. He just had this kind of academic book. So he didn't have any meditations or actual practice of any sort. So I studied him. I studied Dr. DiMartini, became one of his facilitators, and kind of working on the mind and psychomatic thought process that create diseases, like how our thoughts actually create our diseases. So I spent quite a bit of time studying that, like I would if I was going to university, right? Anyways, she healed. We went through a whole journey together. I learned a lot. Fast forward, whatever it was, 5, 6, 7 years. entrepreneur, businessman, I had 10 people working for me, launching, also not launching, pushing my company at a time. And I basically was super drunk one New Year's Eve partying. I slid down the banisters. I landed on my knee. I tore my ACL, my meniscus right off. Just off, the whole thing off. And it was just swollen like this. And I'm supposed to have surgery and an operation. That's the diagnosis from the doctors. And I would be in such agony and pain. I couldn't train anymore. I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't dance anymore. I couldn't really walk, to be honest. Like it was like I would, if I twisted just a little bit or pop, and then I'll be on the floor and out of action. And I also had a business to run. So it was a very heavy time. So for whatever reason, I was just like, let me revisit Dr. Joe's work. And he had this book called You're the Placebo, which is a book about how your thoughts, create all your diseases and your issues. And he has a bunch of meditations. Like, right, I'm going to do his meditations. And I sat there every morning doing his meditations because I read somebody healed themselves of MS. I read that Dr. Joe broke his spine in 3 places and healed himself through meditation. And I kind of I bought into the quantum field, and there was something else I don't understand. Let me experiment. If it didn't work, the worst thing is I'm going to feel good after the meditation. The first 15 minutes always sucked because you're trying to sit still. It just sucked. But I had a reason I wanted to heal. Fast forward a month or 2 later, and this is where I had this big event happen coming up that we were preparing in our business. And I'm sitting there in a teepee with my elder at the time, and going through a very deep, powerful healing. And all of a sudden, I kid you not, Viola, these beautiful giant beings appeared in front of me and did surgery on my knee. That was more real than this computer or this conversation that you were having, and it was very vivid and so loosely real, and they were so benevolent. Like what that was coming through them, the benevolence was just, it's almost like I know these guys, but I don't know from the personality. Like doing this operation on my knee, and as I'm talking to you, my knees are this. It's like vibrating. I literally right now. It's hilarious because I'm connected to them, and I just flew off, and I cried my eyes out, like just deeply cry my eyes out, like head on the ground, like to the Almighty that's there, and got up, and I was like, my knee's back, because prior to that, it didn't feel like I had a knee. There was something missing. There was always like just something missing, but there it was like in. And so when that experience finished, I was like, I don't understand the nature of reality. And certainly my father doesn't. And anybody that I do know, they don't understand. So let me go find some people who can share with me this knowledge that's there, that is hidden or not shared. And so that's where my spiritual journey kind of like really was created.
They nailed you.
They did.
It's like you are the chosen one. You didn't listen, and then go.
Basically, it was a spiritual uppercut, but it was a beautiful one. I needed that kind of like 180 turnaround, and so that was the experience. And I've had many more experiences similar to that, not as extreme as that, where I realized there are hidden forces, hidden energies of the unseen, and there's so many realms. And one of them is our ancestors. You can tune in, it's a frequency. They exist.
Exactly. How do you tune into it? I mean, like, because we know that there is we are born, we celebrate, we die, we celebrate, we go to the graves or not. Some people are cremated. It's like the regular kind of way of life. But how do we really connect? How do you connect with the ancestors, with you? How can you, to us, that ordinary people that have no idea, what's the least?
Like anything, it requires a practice. And the more we practice, the more the connection gets stronger. So whatever that practice is, and there's many different types of practice, and I can share you mine. The way I like to look at the ancestors is like my nose or your nose, Viola, is your great, 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 great grandmothers and fathers. Like you are carrying that person's nose. Like
Oh God, tell me. It's like many times in the mirror, I was like waking up, saying, oh my God, I see my grandmother. Oh Jesus, I'm not ready to get that old yet. I was like, oh my God, I just look like my grandmother. It's true.
Yeah. So all the things they've been through and have been through are inside your DNA. You can access them. So we think we're accessing somewhere else, but you're actually accessing within you. It's being passed down or passed through. And the good things are passed through, but they might not be activated. Or let's say the trauma is there too, and we can deactivate it because it's affecting your life now, or it's currently activating. And I share a story, like one of my clients, alcoholic for many, many years, very wealthy guy, lovely guy, had drinking problems. And when we went through the whole process, and he tried everything, rehab and AA and you name it. And then we went through a deep process. We found out his grandfather, he's German, by the way, so he went through a very tough time during the Second World War and became an extreme alcoholic. And so he's been drinking literally for his granddad. That's why he's an alcoholic now. And so we cleared that energy that was in his system, that was activated, and then he stopped drinking like that. So that's, say, like the negative aspects, but there's also the positive aspects. So some of your grandparents have some incredible skills, qualities, and traits. So maybe your grandfather was super alert and vigilant, and it was just on point. You can tap into that energy. Or some had resilience and strength, or some had like super amounts of compassion. Because I can now, talking about them, I can feel my grandparents. Like, yeah, and they just have different qualities if I require it, whatever they may be. For example, one of my grandfather's stillness. So I can call upon him to feel that stillness and just say, today I'm just going to observe and just be there observing. So, and there's other ancestors further back that have done a lot of, let's say, spiritual training. They have, they're your team, they're your roots. A lot of spirituality, we try to go up here with the angels and which is great, but don't forget the roots that keep you strong on the ground that are there. They're there for you. They're there to support you, and they do rearrange furniture. And I definitely believe my grandparents or ancestors and Alyona's ancestors, they've been working in the other realm and got us together. They did that job. And we've had our own stories behind how that worked, hooked us up. So they can help you in the other realm. If you're willing to make offerings to them, or give them thanks, or send prayers, or put incense towards them. And if you feel a certain energy like, okay, can we end that now? You can negotiate.
Yes, it's true. I was like, if I can kind of share my just a little bit, like regarding the ancestors. I'm doing some like kind of the journey, and one of the theme on that journey is like healing ancestral trauma, and there's lots going on. The music, the voices, and stuff. You are guided, and you are calling, like kind of you inviting your ancestors. And through all the journey that it was going through, I just felt like not really settled and stuff. And they come, and I see those, like my ancestors appear like a beggars. And I was like, oh my God, no, just get out. I am so ashamed of you right now. I said, I'm not gonna carry this energy anymore. I said, it ends. It was that all the journey was about the cutting the cords and actually freeing you and your ancestors. So I was like, that was the discussion. No, I'm not. So I finished that journey, and I was like, oh, like not very happy, and all the dramas of the past, they kind of lifted up, and it was like even more traumatic. And then I said, like, okay, maybe I wasn't in the right mood, and this. Actually, I am my own, I create reality.
Right.
Let's shift the awareness, the consciousness. What do I want? And you know what? And I went for another hour into that because I have the recording. So it was like I went for another hour. And then, like, when it was like coming to that point, calling of the ancestors, like my father, instead of that old drunk or whatever, came up like a like very strong, masculine, guy that actually I think like I always wanted to have my father to be. And I was like, oh, this is now I can feel that I am a little and I can really surrender to this beautiful, amazing, powerful arms of my father. And then when there was a time, because it's like the journey, the mother, the father, and then you got all of the ancestors and then all the branches. So, and then the ancestors came and they came like warriors, all of them. And I was like, yeah, this is my gang. Now I like it. And I was like, good, very nice. Now I can feel strength. And it was just building up. I didn't forget about the beggars and, going through the war and, when the times were very not great and so on. But it was just that choice. So I ended that journey. And then I made another one the next day. And then it's like they all came as a kings and queens. And I was, oh my God, it's like, yeah, this is so nice. So like tapping into different realms of what we really are, and then choosing and like, okay, like taking that energy in and like healing those parts that need to be healed. I mean, that was my personal journey for now. And what's gonna be next? Well, I don't know yet. But you, like within you, it's like you said that the way to connect is through the prayer or through the offerings. What do you mean by that?
So, here's a great time, like October 31st or the 1st of November, the veil is very thin. So it's actually a very good time to connect to those who came before us. And some of them have messages, and some of them, they come and visit me. They visit my mom all the time now. Like, and they share like insights and things that are coming in the future, because you're getting good at communicating with them. It's just that's it. You're just getting good at it as a skill. And so offerings would be like, from my ancestry, they eat a lot of dates. So I'll offer dates to a fire or dates for the plants or whatever it is they like to eat, whatever it may be. For Alyona, Russian is a bit of vodka there. It's like you just offer. It's just, and it's just that deep appreciation and that thanks for them, like really deeply, that they had to go through whatever they had to go through, but the love was always there. And know that every time they gave birth to one of the family members, that was their prayers made manifested. You are the manifestation of their prayers 7 generations back. Like, you are it. So they're like, for them, it's like you are their prize, because they're in the other realm. They can start seeing things differently. They're not the same. They're not the same with their stuff, because they see things differently. So they can assist at a higher vibration and a higher quality that's there. And so it's just like anything. I look at spirituality as learning how to connect, and any practices that someone has will just strengthen that connection. And the way I like to frame it is like, when the internet first came out, we had DSL. It was like, and the page was slowly load, and you could kind of see it. But then if you do a particular practice for a long period of time, or long enough, it doesn't have to be that long, then you just get like broadband. It's just there. It's just instantly. And so we are multi-dimensional beings, having multiple experiences in different realms all the time. It's just learning how to use those ones. And the ancestral realm is one particular realm that especially the indigenous use. So I see how beneficial it is, how they use that knowledge that's there to move within their life in a very conscious, expansive, inclusive way, removing like you said, that trauma of the beggar or whatever. Some of them were hungry, whatever they had to go through, like releasing that from them and from yourself too, because for one, you just release it from them into the void of nothing, and now they're lifted up. Their vibrations lifted up with you as a collective.
Yeah, I think like with that journey that I went through just recently, it was like to really release that beggar within me.
Mm.
I don't have to beg anymore for anything.
Exactly.
I always had this thing before, like, ask for this, ask for that. There lots of rejection was coming through. Like even with the urban retreat, I asked so many people to come and help, to join, to be within the this bountiful and beautiful energy that we are creating. And many says like, they said what they said, and I was like, oh my God. If that happened to me, like many, many years, somebody offered me to be with such a wonderful people, with such an experience, so open-hearted and so ready to give, the people who are in service.
Mhm.
And I just, many, many times I heard, okay, how much are you going to pay me?
Yeah.
And I felt like a beggar then.
Yeah.
And when I did that journey that I said, and when they came as the warriors, and I was like, that strength, that courage came through. And
I,
then like such a powerful, like, my energy changed. And when they came the next day as a king, as a queens, I was like, my spine straightened up, the crown went like this. I said like, I am a greatest manifester. Everything happens for me just like this. And I do this meditation, the beautiful, right now in my Rise and Shine. And I'm going to share it on our urban retreat. And it just like with all of that, it gave me so much strength and the power, even though all those journeys, they were a little bit like lots of scream, lots of crying, lots of, body getting stiff and so on, like that release. Oh, it's just incredible. So having that wisdom that you are sharing, and the ability for me to ask you how to really connect, to open that space, because sometimes we don't ask. I never ask for anything because I thought that my question is stupid, that by now I should know, but I didn't know how to, how. And it
yeah.
was so. But how do you connect it? What's going on? What do you mean? What do you mean you put the vodka on? And what do you do? I rather drink it than put it on the earth. Why should I do this? Nobody said that. It's just like in a way.
Yeah, and you just have to just like really feel them and choose them in your consciousness, in your being. And I tend to just feel an energy behind me like this. This is just what the experience I have. So if you want some sort of feedback, it's like that. And like you said, or you just shared, and for those people who are listening, you feel this, you're surrounded by a very familiar force. And also you connected to where they were like regal and noble, because they are. And now you connected to a higher realm of their version of them. That's there. And now you have access. And so those are there to help you manifest. They help you to create. They help you to share. They help you to teach, because you're the beacon of light for the lineage. You're that beacon of light for the lineage, and so is your son. It's that lineage, that light, that knowledge, that sacred knowledge that you want to keep passing, and for you to grow and grow and grow for the next generation, next generation. And if you do subscribe to reincarnation, then maybe we come back again.
Definitely we will. We have so much to share. So many times I did hear, you are the chosen one. I said, just leave me alone. What do you mean chosen one? Why do I have to suffer? Everyone is having party and I'm a chosen one and I have to go through the suffering. No, leave me alone. Just like leave me alone. Shift this off or just piss off. It's like with mine kind of like Polish way and so on. So yeah, but embracing that and reconnecting with what is it that I really want, and asking for the guidance. Sometimes when I feel like, well, the whole world is collapsing, I was like, oh, come on, just help me. Show me the way. What is the way? Send me an angel, the message, something. But
Right.
it's like my request is always, it has to be crystal clear. I don't want to think for 2 years what happened then and then.
Mhm.
Crystal clear.
Yeah.
Crystal clear message, please. And when you go into that, not like, oh, please, 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 but you go into that warrior type, the queen or king, it's like, now I want it. It happens just like that. It just happens.
Yeah. It's commanded. It's beautiful.
So we have that. That's another question. What are the common messages that we can receive from our ancestors for us, for our development? Or how do we, yes, go through the trauma, or how we clear those limiting beliefs to have that fulfilled, happy life?
So some of that trauma is stored in our DNA as part of the morphogenic field that creates a distortion in our reality. So we are subjected to, unfortunately, just like the beggar thing, their trauma. And it's got nothing to do with you in this lifetime. You're like, why am I feeling these feelings? You know? And it's just something they had to go through, so they passed it on. It just gets passed on. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And so I do a very at this event that we're doing together at the urban retreats, and that's why it's called lightness of being, is to be light in your being, because your being is actually very pure. We're just removing the impurities that doesn't correspond to that highest frequency of who we really are, this divine light. And so these traumas are just condensed thought forms and packages in the system that is bringing light inwards instead of projecting the radiance outwards. And so the actual breath work and the sacred chants, these chants are used to clear out that energy in those fields. They're not just singing songs, they are actually designed the way it's sung as a technology to remove and clear out those blockages, where everyone just end up feeling a lot lighter, more liberated. And really is what's happening is their DNA from their ancestors that has been inherited like a bad file. It's just been deleted, because those traumas doesn't define your ancestors, because that's not who they are. It's just something they went through. They just haven't fully processed it. So it's an opportunity for the process to just go. And for some people can do it just like that, for whatever reasons, they have the ability. And for some other people, it's just a lot more deeper for some time, and it's affected them, and they don't know why they behave a certain way. And when it goes, it's like, I feel more like my true self. Something's gone. It's like one of those moments where you're like, I feel me, like that, whatever that was. And so that's how we could do it. There are other ways of doing it, but I would definitely shamanic work really work with the ancestors. They also work with other beings and other beautiful beings and spirits, but that's what's going to happen on the day. So come along, and you're going to meet. You think you'll just become going there by yourself, but your whole ancestors are going to be there. It's going to room you before.
Yeah, when you and your wife, congratulations, when you delivered this beautiful ceremony, like everyone was like, oh my god,
Yeah, that's
that's
great.
beautiful. How did they do this? Through the chanting, the prayers, the whispers and all. It was such a wonderful, such a beautiful ceremony. And yes, and they were asking like, oh, are we going to do it again? And when you said yes, I was like so excited that yes, we can have it again. And then of course you do all your different ceremonies, serving humanity here in London, and you travel around the world with your wisdom, with your connection to specific beautiful energies of the ancestors. What are the tips to stay tuned in into ourselves or into the ancestors, the wisdom, to listen to their whispers throughout the day?
For myself, the main tip is who you go to bed with. Every night we go to bed with, and I share that even though I go
What
to
do you mean, who do you go to bed with?
literally, who do you go to bed with? So the practice is really important. I see going to bed is you're heading into a spaceship and you're going traveling for whatever, 7, 8 hours, and you can go in many different dimensions and alternate realities. People don't take that seriously whatsoever, but it's a crucial time if you want to develop your spiritual gifts and powers that are there. It's nighttime, right? You can also do your sadhanas during the day. You can do your tuning in to the day. They're all great, but there's something very special if you enter that realm. And when I say who you go to bed with, I don't mean I go to bed with my wife, but I'm talking about who is coming in with my thought process before I go to sleep. So a very simple practice is to recapitulate the day. Recapitulate today is you go backwards through the day and you say, oh, I spoke to Viola today. I spoke to this person today. I did this. But you don't judge it as good or bad. You're just deleting the day. That's all you're doing. It's 3-4 minutes. It's really interesting because the mind wants to go analyze it. It will say, how could I have done it better? It's like you don't do any of that. You just go through the day all the way to the morning. That's the first thing to delete. It's a very beautiful practice. 2-3 minutes. Doesn't take long. And then you just give some gratitude because it's good to go to bed with gratitude, whatever it is. And then that place in that gratitude of your full power. Full power is love. So now I'm going to bed with love. Like I'm choosing love. I don't care if I have a bad day, good day, whatever. Is love is coming with me to bed. And in that place,
nice.
I say, I want to learn from the lamas, or I want to spend time with my ancestors. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get something far better, and I'm getting a download. And then when I wake up, I start to realize something shifted in me, or I get a very vivid dream about something that I can move forward, or the ancestors visit. So that's a very easy practice to do. And it does take 3-4 minutes. It doesn't take long. And or you do your prayers. And some people have some certain prayers. I also have certain prayers. So that's one tip. I would say that's the best tip. You can do that for 21 days as a challenge. Something very special.
21 days is not enough. We do 40 days in Kundalini Yoga. Let's stick with it.
You guys are better. 40 days, even better.
It takes 40 days to change the habit, as they say. Whatever. That's another kind of matrix on its own. As
yeah. Well, some habits take shorter, some take longer. It's just part of life. It depends. Everyone's different. Another tuning in is for myself. I mean, now I've gone much more closer to my own, ancestral faith of Islam, and I look at it from the beauty point of view. I'm very fascinated with all traditions and religions. I study Christianity, Judaism, the Vedas. I love those subjects, just love them. And I love the beauty of all of them. But something happened to me regarding that energy. So I do those prayers. And there's a reason why I do those prayers is because I have an ego. And the only way to humble that ego is to put my head on the mat and be like, I don't know anything. And just let go. So any practice that just at some moment you are really surrendering to the bigger picture, the divine, the intelligence, that's why I like about Islam. It's not because it's the right religion. It's got nothing to do with that. It's like 5 times a day, you're putting your head down and you're saying, I don't know, Almighty. Like that, any practice, and it could be simply, just looking at the stars. It could be simply nature. It could be your sadhana. It could be something that brings you out of the ego, personality complex. And I don't think the ego is bad. When someone says I have no ego, I'm like, that is the ego. Yeah. So it's just something we're using. Hopefully it's not using us. That makes sense. That's all.
One way or the other, as we call it, the show must go on.
The show must go on. But anything
continues, and it's better to find something that serves you at that very moment. 100%. And if that moment for now is like bowing that head and surrendering to divine and feeling that wiping everything, I don't know anything, or as you were saying before, that tip, like beautiful. So thank you for that. It's like going through the day and actually kind of like, okay, acknowledging and
let it
go all, instead of like, I remember what you did say 10 years ago or 50 years ago. And then we have that war going on for centuries, or the families, they don't talk to each other. They don't know why anymore, but they are at war. Yeah. When I had the situations like this, like quite a while ago, when I visited some relatives of a then partner, and that was the situation, that they were at work for all their lives. And I said, like, but what is that war about? And they couldn't say.
No, it's madness.
And I said, isn't that better just to but it's like when you're coming from external reality, you see this plateau on different level. For them to separate, universes that they cannot be connected at that space in reality. And yes, and when we connect those ancestors and we get ourselves a little bit out as the spectator of this theater called life, then we can actually see that where is that blockages or that limiting beliefs or that trauma that holds us in that pain, in suffering.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives you that perspective to go through it, as well as the ancestors to give you the courage that you can handle it. You know, we came a long way. I like what you just shared about the situation where people kind of put each other in prison. Like, they don't even know why they sentenced that person 10 years ago for whatever, but they've forgotten to say how long for. You know, the sentence may have been 3 months, but it's now 10 years. The person's still in their mental prison. And it's like, just free those people in your mind. Just free them. Like, just let them go. It's like, what kind of crime have they committed that's so bad that you are punishing them still to this day for 10 years for he said this or she did this or they didn't pay me back or blah, blah, blah stuff. Like, all that is noise where we are able to connect clearly to the divine or those realms. And so, as Jesus would say, blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. All those things are just impurities away from the truth of reality and existence and the beauty that's always sitting there, that's in abundance. So that process of clearing brings the connections. Like, how do we get better connections? Just, well, you're already connected because you're alive. That's how it is. Like, you're not connected. It's just clearing the garbage out that we've created for ourselves for whatever reasons. Don't judge it, forgive it, move on, and you'll start to notice this beautiful interaction, connection, relationship with whatever we want to call it, God, intelligence, divine. And I have people and I'm like, Sean, what's my path? And I was like, you are the path. There are 7 billion people on this planet, therefore there are 7 billion paths. That's it. It's as simple as that. So know that you are the walking, talking path. And so move the things, whatever they may be, or get friends to help you so you can feel your path. That's always guiding you. And that intelligence, that intelligent love, is our very best friend. And I know
Yes.
that.
It's great, it's like when you are in your neutral mind and you're full of love and joy and the blissfulness, that's great. It's so easy to go to sleep with love in your heart and think like, oh, so. But when you are angry or something happened, when you are raging, it's like, it's like quite difficult to let go of the situation. And I love you. You just think like, I'm going to.
Yeah. So
So how
I
to shift that energy of anger, frustration to when we don't feel like let go at all. So I don't want to let go. I want to hold a grudge for another 30 years. And at that moment, it's like, I hate you forever.
It's a great one. Great question. So when I was on this journey, it takes like 3 years to get a BSc on a subject, right? If you want to study biochemical engineering, it takes 3 years. So I was like, you know what? I'm giving myself 3 years to study peace. Like, that's my main curriculum. And there's no way to peace. Peace is the only way. Like, you see what's happening in Gaza and all those places. Hate never dispel hate. It's just never just going to create more of the suffering and continue it. Only peace can win. But we have to choose it, even when we don't want to choose it, and we feel those frustrations. And it's not to deny that anger, to pretend it's not there, and I'm just the peaceful guy. That's a lie. It's a complete lie. But after a while, one learns how to shorten that space. After one while, one learns how to reduce that. After a while, one learns, like, when did I really allow anger to come into my system? After a while, after doing whatever practices, you're like, there's peace. I missed you for so long. Where have you been? After a while, you'd be like, I'm not going to give my peace away that easy to anybody. I worked bloody hard for it. It's just, doesn't mean I can't be firm and assertive. Doesn't people think peace is la la, peace, man? No, peace is in the chaos, there's peace. in someone attacking you, there's still peace and that composure. You know, the great fighters of the world are very peaceful inside, because that's how you fight. That's how you really fight, because nothing makes you react, right? There's a deep peace. It's that energy. So that's a training. Someone needs to commit to it and investigate their anger. You have to investigate it. It's your shadow, and you investigate it and learn it and understand it, and it's trying to share something. And that's that. So once I did peace, I decided for 3 years to study joy. Like, joy is going to be my next subject for 3 years. And I met my wife at the time, and you know, I'm able to just sit somewhere and experience bliss for no reason. And then, okay, what do I want to do with that? How do I share that? What gives you more joy? So, you know, create a curriculum, like study a subject. It's a big subject, peace, joy. There's not just 2 seconds. So I would recommend that. And yeah, look at those envy. When you feel envy, like, oh, what's that showing?
Oh God, the envy is a very, very big one. I talk
Yeah.
about that. The envy and the jealousy, and yeah, the anger, jealousy, and envy. They are very close to. They are good friends.
They're buddies. Yeah.
They are good friends, and when they come together for the party,
Yeah.
it's a rave.
It's a big party. It feels so powerful. You know, the anger feels so good. You feel so powerful in that
Oh yeah.
moment of anger. You're just like, wow. But you forget the person in front of you. You forget who that person is completely. And it creates a lot of damage long term. So which one do you want to pick? When you know that, like, which you want, do you want to feel powerful for that moment? Or again, like I said, you can be assertive and firm and not angry. You can be very about anything. There's no anger there. There's a lot of love, but it's also like, know your space. You know, don't ever do that again. Or there will be repercussions. I guarantee it. It's a different way. There's a subtlety to it. But yes, studying those the 7 deadly sins inside ourselves, because we all have it, but there's also learning how to do the opposite of it in that space shows you, well, shows myself where I am right now, you know, as a friend or as somebody trying to grow in the human condition. I'm here just to grow, and it means uncovering those guys, making friends with those guys, and then disarming those guys and growing. You know, so that's my advice. It's a lifelong process.
Hold on. What? What? Ah, gosh.
Yeah, you are on the right thing.
Yeah, the people are... Just give me a second. Mika, w kuchni stoi. Podaj, ja jeszcze mam live. Ja mówiłam, że po 9:00. Gosh, sorry. People are coming for kombucha. We're supposed to come after 9. Can you close the doors, please?
Okay, I want to show one thing about anger and frustration and all those things is, especially people who are on the spiritual path, is the best place to test where you are is go hang out with your family.
Yeah, exactly. It's like now. Chaos
you
started. It's just
chaos,
the chaos started. Everyone is helping. My daughter, my son, the cat. It's just like it's like woohoo! Everything is just like, what's going on? And it's like, now, yes. And as we do that there is the way through every block. It's like to stay within and allow everything to kind of like, as we've learned in our Kundalini Yoga teacher training, there is a way through every block. And there's another one, understand through compassion, or you will misunderstand the times. So it's like, when I remember those, sometimes I will kind of come to that space of not reacting, not panicking, but rather say, okay, I can deal with it now. Nothing's going to happen. A little bit of noise, disruption. Fine. Life happens. And then knowing that, yes, whatever we do, whether, we teach Kundalini Yoga, or we teach some other modality, or we do the shamanic ceremony or something, it's like this is our one of the dimensions that we present.
Correct.
And then it's like, you're not always like this. Sometimes you are like that, sometimes like that, sometimes like that. Is that humanity within ourselves? And then for us to realize like how we can, yes, not react to external happenings, to the chaos. And that's, we almost in 1 hour, but quickly, in a way, like what is happening to humanity right now, and how can we, as let's say a little bit more aware, if I may say that, people, expand consciousness, expanded hearts, how can we contribute to?
So I'm just going to give you the indigenous people, what they've shared with me, and some elders. And so 2012 from the Mayan calendar is called the New Baktun. And there was a movie called 2012. It was the end of the world. And, the Western, they're like apocalypses and destruction. No, it's the end of the old world and the old frequency. And it's the beginning of the new world, the new frequencies that are being poured forth. And it's the same thing with the Aquarian age. 2020, before COVID, is the second door of the Aquarian age opened, the spiritual door that opens. So every 72 years, another door opens. So I asked my teacher, I was like, what's this next 72 years? He said it's a big cleanup job. Humanity really needs to clean up, right? And if they do a good cleanup job, we don't suffer as much. If we don't, then there's going to be some issues. And he said everything in the material, everything in the other realm, the academic, the military, the food industry, every industry you can think of is all broken in the spiritual realm. And so the forces that are now are trying to hold on to that, but they're gone. They don't exist anymore. And so where the spirit is taking it is the new world, the new place, where we're birthing the new human, what it is to truly reclaim your humanity, as you were saying, and being a human being, and developing those qualities of a human, where we grow together, where we bring back this understanding of who we really are, and helping one another to blossom. So this is what the Aquarian age of the second door that's happening here. And that's why more people get into yoga and breath work and all these kind of things. And it's like this mishmash, forget all the conspiracy theories, but this is what's happening. So there's Mother Earth, she's ascending, and we are part of Mother Earth. And so there's this new ascension, there's this new birthing of the new human being that's happening here. That is the way they like to look at it, is this Aquarian age is the light of the new dawn. So, you know how spring finishes, or the early morning, that beginning light, it's still dark outside, a bit of light's coming through. That's where we are. The full light hasn't come through, but that light is there. And so there's an opportunity to really expand and grow exponentially, because we humans have gone through cycles and cycles. Ancient civilization was a high level of consciousness, maybe not as all this technology with phones, but there's a high level of consciousness that was there. So we're revisiting this high level of consciousness within ourselves, because we are the technology, we are the AI, we are the iPhone. We just forgot how to use it. We forgot how to plug in and how to use it, because we've been so worshipping the structures that the powers that may be, and the rational mind, that we forgot that we have this beautiful gift within ourselves, and the interconnection where I can, we've all been there, Viola, when somebody's thinking of you and then they all of a sudden call you. We've had those experiences. Like, what is that? Guess what? That's happening in everything we are. Like, all that information.
Yeah, we are connected wirelessly.
We are.
We don't need the phones. We just it comes. It's just rare.
And so that's the new human, is being able to understand those skill sets and those capacities, and develop them and growing them and benefiting the human beings, but also all beings of Mother Earth, and taking care of Mother Earth. So this is where we are. So doing our inner work is really for everybody. Like, that's for the grid. Doing your inner work, coming to these retreats, the urban retreats, learning Kundalini yoga from yourself, following whichever teacher that helps you resonate, this resonance. I look for that resonance. When I met you, I was like, oh, there's a resonance there. That's what I'm talking about. It's a sensation that's beyond logic. And I'm really taking that seriously, like committing to it. magic happens. Like the life is supposed to be happens. Life is always happening, but the experience of it just shifts. And so,
Exactly. It's like I can bring in here the like today's words of wisdom when I was teaching in the morning is just like perfect for this for our life. Listen to that, Cheyenne. Life is only what is lived, moment to moment, and place to place, and space to space, and time to time, because you are always you.
mm,
Mm.
beautiful.
Life is only what is lived, and we
Yeah.
have a choice. How are we going to live that life? How are we going to spend the evening? How are we going to spend the day? Who are we connecting with, or who doesn't really um, doesn't really great well doesn't have that great wild vibe? And coming to that human, I do remember from the teachings of Kundalini yoga, as we say, the human, the whole that's world is human. Hu
Uh-huh.
is the light, and
Yeah.
man is the mind. So,
Uh-huh.
like that is enlightened mind.
Uh-huh. It's
So
very
that's
true.
human enlightened mind. So when we can switch to that, like instead of like I am the human that is suffering and it's like I have enough of this and that, thinking like okay, that's human enlightened mind. And if I have lots of darkness in my mind, it's like, come on, come on, come on, come
Just
on,
turn the lights on.
come on, turn it on, turn it on, turn it on. It's like I started to be very demanding recently to
Mm.
that whatever the projections from outside world is happening. I said, this is your story. That's not
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
all
Uh-huh.
the informations that I got. Oh, I'm sorry, but this and this happening. I see, you are doing great, but around you there's lots of dark energy. They want to steal your chi. I said, you know what? This is your story. I said, like, whatever. Get over yourself. No, but I'm doing for you. I'm doing you a favor telling you that. I'm telling you. I said, like, you know what? Please go to the
Yeah.
garden. Get your hands into the dirt. I love going to my garden. When my mind gets crazy busy and all the demons they awaken and I said, okay, that's it. I switch off everything. I said, I'm not dealing with that. It has all the universe has to wait for me. Now is my reset time. I go to the garden, I bow down, and
Uh-huh.
I do the weeds and dig a little bit here, there. I may still be raging inside from something, but then after the while, everything is like, it's gone. The
Yeah.
mind is crystal
Cool.
clear. And you're just like, what was that about? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter now. It's gone. Thank you so much. It was, oh my God, thank you. Thank you for that. So there are different ways, and whichever way is good for us. And within that, on Sunday, the urban retreat that you are going to be there with your beautiful wife, Alyona, and perform this wonderful ceremony again. Be sharing the Kundalini yoga. We have some other modalities that absolutely beautiful. What is it that you're going to share just shortly? Because we just crossed an hour. Look at that.
Yes. So we're going to go through a very profound shamanic breath work. This breath actually is not intense. It's only through breathing through your mouth. And when we breathe mainly through our mouth, it's not actually recommended because you don't become alert, but you drop into very deep awareness of theta state. It gets you into a theta state. Theta state is the dream world, or we can say those dimensions where one can meet their ancestors and all sorts of things. It's a tuning into a level of consciousness. And in that place, you're going to end up meeting them and experiencing them and healing what needs to be healed, resolving what needs to be resolved, and releasing what needs to be released. And also, like anything I say, when with healing, I'm very conscious about healing. When you take something out, it's really important to put something really good inside. And so our ancestors want to bear some gifts, or you might want to ask for some particular gifts, whatever they may be, whether there's knowledge, whether it's some actual physical inheritance. You'd be surprised. It might actually happen in the real 3D world. So to receive that, and then to also know that if you ever need them, you're stuck, or you need more courage, or you need more whatever it is, those qualities, you can just call them like a friend. Like they're there, they're just ready to answer. And
Okay,
so
so you will teach us how to do this, because
you will have
I'm
an
quite curious.
experience.
I want to go through that journey again,
Yes.
like to with that awareness. Sometimes for me, it gets a time. Sometimes I have to listen to it a couple of times or more, to really kind of that seed to be planted well.
Yes, like anything, repetition is the mother of all learning, and so we go a little deeper till we're really hooked on, and it's kind of firm that's there. And so, God willing, that your ancestors become your allies as part of the spiritual makeup, as well as people use angels and archangels and ascended masters. They're also great allies. So I have a posse of allies. That's how I see it. Life is challenging. It's good to have a lot of allies that are there that kind of make life vibrant and colorful and interesting.
Yes, like it's like when you have those different guides, when you think about it, like when you are in difficult situation, you need someone. Then you don't ask butterfly to come when you need a helper within
Yes.
you. So you need to pick and choose and say, oh, today I need that warrior spirit within me. Or like, it's like today, oh, please allow me to relax right now.
Yeah.
Perfect moment. And I want to feel those butterflies and so on. And so it's just that ability to pick and choose accordingly, not to ask, the ego to be a puma.
All the time, yeah. It's been good to enjoy all the qualities of the human conditions to overcome any sort of negativity that doesn't have to be there as long as, like you just said, the story, it doesn't have to be there that long. Whatever the emotions and those feelings, we don't have to stay there for too long. And that's really what a master is. They experience sadness, they experience these things and frustration, but it doesn't last the whole time where it affects their whole week and affects their month. Like it's very short, but they get the knowledge, they get the wisdom, they get the lesson, and they move on. And like you shared, life is about living. And everybody dies, sister, everybody, but not everybody lives. And so this is an opportunity to learn how to live more fully in your full power within yourself and all around you, so you can bring some good to the world, your world, and inshallah, to people, your friends and family, inshallah, to strangers and everybody else, and then we keep going.
Exactly. Live before you die.
Yeah.
Live before you die. So wonderful. Thank you so much for dedicated once again your time to share your wisdom, your insights, and yes, and coming with all your gears and all your powerful ancestors and all those strong warriors
Have a great time.
on Sunday. Yes, have a great time. We always have a great time anyways, but yeah, it's like I'm so looking forward to that. And College House is absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful building, and it has very specific energy that you can feel that ancestral connections. That
A lot of good work has happened there. A lot of good positive deposits in that space. You can really sense it. It's a beautiful place. And I want to say thank you, Viola, for organizing and putting all this energy and effort. And you're such a star. You're such a blessing. You're one of my favorite Polish people I know. So thank you, Viola.
inshallah. So be it.
So good.
So nice, so nice. Yes, thank you so much once again, and I'll see you on Sunday morning. And if the people they want to get connected with you, where do they find you?
They can just go onto Facebook and add me as a friend and just say I came from here with Viola, and we stay in touch.
Yeah, because you also do those very beautiful ceremonies and very sacred.
Yes.
But more about that probably on the retreat. And for now,
Satnam.
so much.
Waheguru.
Satnam, Waheguru, God bless us all. And yes, bowing to the ancestors for giving us the courage and the space and reality that we could actually sit. And even though the little one's like, it's like, yes, everything aligns so beautifully.
Really does.
Have a peaceful, beautiful night. And that tip was the nuggets. It's like,
Right.
check out all the meetings, all the stories. Reset, go to bed with love. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. I am ready for
Always a choice. It's just a choice.
blessings to your wife. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye, sister. Good night. Sweet
Thank
dreams.
you, brother. So much love. Thank you. Okay, beautiful people. So here we are once again, amazing Sheian Alegria. And he's going to be with us on Sunday at College House. We are starting at 9:45, and Sheian and his wife, they're going to do the opening ceremony this time. So be before. The whole day is full of beautiful people, amazing hearts. Expanded consciousness is for us. The Aquarian age is here, the elevations of the consciousness, and creating a beautiful life, creating the life full of love, full of blessings. So much love. Thank you so much. Share that video if you find it interesting, and come on Sunday. Good night.